You're still watching The Pulse on the Joy News channel on Multi TV. Now, the Women's Situation Room Ghana says it has deployed 120 focal persons to key hotspots across the 10 regions in Ghana to monitor and report on threats and incidents of violence in these areas to facilitate swift dispute resolution before, during, and after the 2016 elections. According to the group, comprising eminent women across various sectors, initial reports received so far have centered around low-grade conflicts between supporters of the two main political parties, the NDC and the NPP.
What we have launched today, we are calling the early warning and the early response mechanism, which is what we are explaining, that we know that there are warning signs on the ground, things that are happening that can suggest that there can be violence during the elections. And we are putting the system in place. So we have 96 focal hotspots that we have kind of developed. And that we develop through synchronizing the various hotspots that all the stakeholders have. The EC have theirs, the police have theirs. Because we cannot cover the whole, all of the hotspots, we have synchronized and have identified 96 of those hotspots. And for those hotspots, we have trained 120 individuals who we have assigned to those spots. So they are watching.
Train, what do you mean?
We've actually taken them through training. So mediation skills, identifying some of these signs, and when it happens, what should you do? How should you report it? So they have a template, a reporting format, and now we all know WhatsApp. So now it's by WhatsApp that they send the information to our hubs, and then they move it down. So when they identify these things, we pull them together and pass them on to the eminent women who will decide or give us directions as to how to respond to them.
And let's still talk politics. This time, the President, John Mahama, today met the Trade Union Congress, the leadership, today at the Flagstaff House. He's been talking about a wide range of issues, including what happened over the weekend at the residence of the MPP's presidential candidate, Nana Akufo-Addo.
I believe that Labour has a very important role to play in ensuring that elections are transparent, free and fair. And I'll ask you to rise up to that occasion. This country belongs to you. It does not belong to us, the political leaders or politicians. And I believe that when we ratchet up the political rhetoric, I mean, you should feel free and confident to call us to order. By my nature, I'm not a person who encourages violence, and I would never encourage violence. And so if any such thing would happen, it would not be because I have provoked it. We'll try to avoid the flashpoints that create that kind of situation. Only last Saturday, we almost had, you know, a clash which would have been unfortunate. I mean, if any of those firearms had been fired and somebody had dropped dead, it would have been a completely different situation. And so we must be preventive in our actions to ensure that these things don't happen. I think that the police at Nima should have been better briefed, knowing that this group was coming to pass through. And then we should have taken the appropriate safeguards so that there would have been no, you know, opportunity for that to happen. And so we'll take a cue from what happened and make sure that it doesn't happen in the future. The EC is getting ready to superintend these elections. I think that one of the concerns we have is the constant, you know, discrediting of the EC. I mean, when you have a competition coming up and somebody is consistently discrediting the arbiter, then it sets the stage for disputing elections, you know, when they have taken place. And that's the concern I have, and I've continued to express it. Our EC has conducted 6 successful elections, and this is the 7th. They have the personnel, the same personnel are working there, you know, and I don't see what the reason is that we say the commission is biased, the commission is trying to rig the election in favor of somebody and all that kind of thing.
More on the story later on this evening on Joy News Prime. Do make a day. Still staying with issues to do with what has been in relation to the violence over the weekend. We know already that the US and UK governments had released a circular indicating that they condemn violence in this country in every respect, be it political or apolitical. Well, the notice in addition to that was that in view of that, anyone who is caught in the web of committing any act of violence will have his visa revoked, and also for those who will apply for it, they will be rejected. We've been picking the thoughts of people here in the country, here in Accra, on what they make of this latest development and also the announcement by the US and UK government. Jennifer Ekramwa has more.
And we have about 3 weeks until the December 7 polls, and although it's been relatively quiet, there have been pockets and outbursts of violence. Namely, over the weekend, there was a fracas between the MPP and NDC supporters at the MPP presidential candidate's residence at Nima. And there was also a similar clash between NDC and MPP supporters at Willinsea in the northern region. In response to these incidences, the US and UK ambassadors released separate statements insisting that they would stand on their prerogative to revoke visas or deny visas to those who incite or foment violence in the run-up to this year's elections. Joy News took to the streets to find out from you what you make of this directive.
Not bad, at least. It's a good initiative. And I think it's going to make the political leaders talk to their followers as well. So it's going to help the whole nation. And I think it shouldn't only be the political leaders, but the whole population as well.
I think that's a strong statement from the UK and the US embassies. And I really commend that. I'm very happy and excited about that because in itself it promotes peace. We all know that folks in Ghana like either to go to the US or to the UK. So if these two countries, which serves as the destination for most Ghanaians in the diaspora, is stating that if you're caught in domestic violence, we're going to revoke your visa, or if you apply, we're not going to grant you that visa. And I think it's a great and a firm statement. They're telling us that they have the peace here in Ghana at heart. They're telling us that they want to see Ghana live in democracy. They want to see Ghana do well and do great.
I don't think it's the right move because you can't threaten people like that because your own country have elections. If they have elections and they foment violence, what happens? So why do you have to use countries? If you want to revoke countries' visa licenses, then go ahead. Don't use the election as a yardstick.
It's a nice idea. It's something great that they are doing because, you know, these political leaders, in a way, don't really think about the peace of the country. You know, they want to be the leader of the country, and some will do whatever means they will do to be a leader. So I think it's a nice idea. In fact, they should do that.
The leaders or the political leaders of this country should preach about peace. They are not supposed to invoke conflicts or war or problems on us, right? They shouldn't actually give us the idea of doing violence or committing violence in the country. So if any of the political parties, the aspirants, are being caught in such situation, they are not supposed to be granted visa. They should be in the mess they are creating. If they create a mess, they must be in it to endure whatever comes out of it.
The views there are sought by Jennifer Ekramwa in that report. Let's now quickly go to the voting school for our lesson. That's our lesson today, and we'll bring you more each day till December 7 when you head to your polling station to cast your ballots. We'll pause now, come back, and bring you sports here on The Pulse. Stay with us.